Hello, sixth grade. Welcome to your lesson today. This is April 22, and we are in Unit 17, Lesson 2. In 1 week, we will be finished. It's very exciting. So how are you? I hope to see you soon in class when we go back to school. But for today, we will start Unit 17, Lesson 2, page 96. Let's read these conversations. I will say and you repeat. The hedgehog is in here. It's fine now. It can go home. Great. Let's take it to Burton Wood. The vet says, come on, out you come. And Kathy says, oh, it's happy now. Okay, look at this picture. Start here. Yes, start with the girl up here. Look, did you see that butterfly? Yes, I did. It's a purple emperor. It likes living here now. Let's go and tell our parents. Let's read this one. At the barbecue. There isn't any bread. There's some bread in the box. Let's look at these conversations. First, where is the vet? This is the vet. Does a vet care for people or animals? Animals. A doctor cares for people. Where did they take the hedgehog? Here it says, let's take it to Burton Wood. Let's is short for let us. It's a kind way of saying that she wants to do something. If you have an idea that you want to do with people, you can say let's. For example, let's eat dinner. Let's go to the mall. How does the hedgehog feel now? Kathy says, it's happy now. What other animal do they see in this story? They see a butterfly. Butterfly. A butterfly is a small animal with beautiful wings. Repeat after me. Butterfly. Butterfly. The father says it's a purple emperor. This is the type of butterfly. It is purple. Where else does Kathy say let's? First she says let's here, and then she says let's here. Repeat after me. Let's. Let's. This is a barbecue. What is a barbecue? It's like a picnic. What is missing at this picnic? Missing means not there. He says there isn't any bread. He thinks the bread is missing, not there. Isn't is short for is not. Repeat after me. Isn't. Is it missing though? No. She says There's some bread in the box. Repeat after me. Some bread. So you can see here it is, a box with bread. Inkurti non bread box. Now I will say, and you point to the conversation that I said. Oh, it's happy now. Point to it. Here it is. Oh, it's happy now. Point to, look, did you see that butterfly? Here it is. Look, did you see that butterfly? Point to, there isn't any bread. Here it is. The man says there isn't any bread. Point to, let's go and tell our parents. Here it is. Parents is mom and dad. Parents means mom and dad. Point to, come on, out you come. The vet says it up here. Point to, there's some bread in the box. There's some bread in the box. Here it is. Point to, great, let's take it to Burton Wood. Here it is. Burton Wood is a place with many trees. Point to, yes, I did. It's a purple emperor. It likes living here now. Here it is. And point to, the hedgehog is in here. It's fine now. It can go home. Good, it's up here. Practice reading this conversation to yourself. Listen again if you need help. Answer these questions. How is the hedgehog? It says the hedgehog is fine now. Fine now. Fine is another way of saying good. Number 2, where are they taking the hedgehog? Remember, they are taking the hedgehog to Burton Wood. Why is this? Burton Wood is where the hedgehog lived when Kathy found it. So they will take the hedgehog back to its home. Back to the hedgehog's home. Number 3, what animal do they see at the barbecue? Not a hedgehog, but a butterfly. Butterfly. I'll show you a picture of a butterfly. They're very beautiful. Okay. So these are all butterflies. This is a butterfly. This is a butterfly. Repeat after me. Butterfly. And where did they see the butterfly? Look at your book. In Burton Wood. Burton Wood. Number 4, what do they think is missing at the barbecue? Missing means not there. He thinks bread is missing. But where is the bread? It's not missing. Where is it? She says, it's in the box. There's some bread in the box. And number 6, What else are they eating at the barbecue? Look at your book at the table. They are eating soda. They are eating oranges, an apple, and chips. Probably meat as well. Repeat after me, barbecue. Remember that a barbecue is like a picnic. Look at page 97. Repeat after me. In my kitchen, there are some tomatoes. Let's look at this sentence. So she says, in my kitchen, there are some tomatoes. First, she is talking about a location. In my kitchen. A kitchen is a room where you make food and eat. Repeat after me, kitchen. She says, in my kitchen, there are some tomatoes. Some, this means more than one. More than one. If there was only one tomato, she would say, there is a tomato. Repeat after me, in my kitchen, there is a tomato. But there is more than one. So she changes is to are, and she says some tomatoes. So what were the three things we did? We said are instead of is, we added some, and we added an S to the end of tomatoes. Repeat after me. In my kitchen, there are some tomatoes. I say, you repeat. In my kitchen, there are some tomatoes. There is some rice. So he has some tomatoes, and what else does he have? He has rice. He says there is some rice. Why does he use is instead of are? We use is for items that we can't count. Can you count rice? Of course not. So we use is for items you can't count. For example, there is some water. There is some milk. There is some coffee. There is some bread. We even do this with bread. And there is some rice. If it's an item you can count, like tomatoes, you say there are. If it's an item you cannot count, like rice, you say there is. Repeat after me. There is some rice. Now, repeat after me. In my kitchen, there are some tomatoes. There is some rice. There is some chocolate. Do you like chocolate? So again, she says there is some chocolate. We can count chocolates, but normally we simply say some chocolate. So we use is, not are. Now, if we have 5 apples, do we say there is 5 apples or there are 5 apples? We say there are 5 apples. Repeat after me. There are 5 apples. You look in your kitchen. What's in your kitchen? Look around and practice. Say, there is some water. There is some coffee. You could say, there are some apples. There are some tomatoes. You can use lots of food names. Remember, when we looked at all of these foods, repeat after me. Tortillas, fish, cheese, bread, meatballs. Now I'm going to make a sentence. There is a pizza. There is some butter, you say. There are some chips. There is some orange juice. There is some water. There is some rice. There are fruit. There are vegetables. There is some spaghetti. There are some kebabs. There is some salad. There are some meatballs. There is fish. There are some tortillas. There is some bread. There is some cheese. You practice. Try to remember all these food names. Say there is some water, there is some butter, there is some tortillas. And then create some sentences using there is. Now look at your book on page 97. Here it says, in your notebook, write about a place in your town. Use the words in the boxes. First, create some sentences with these words. Now remember, we learned how to use there is and there are. When do we use there is? For one item or many items? One item. We could say there is we could say there is one car. When do we use there are? For one item or many items? We use there are for many items, more than one. For example, there are 3 cars. Repeat after me. There is one car. There are 3 cars. If we don't want to say the exact number, we can say there are some cars. Or we can say there is a car. Repeat after me. There is a car. There are some cars. Remember that the difference, we change is to are, we add some, and we add an S. We can use some or we can use a specific number. Both are good. For example, there is some pollution. Remember, pollution is rubbish and cups and bags outside. It needs to be in the trash can, but it is not. We call it pollution. Repeat after me. There is some pollution. Now, what if I want to say that there is not some pollution? If it's clean and there is no pollution, I say there is not pollution. Or there isn't pollution. Here's another example. There isn't any traffic. There isn't any traffic. So when we use isn't, we could say there isn't traffic, or we can say there isn't any traffic. Both are good. Traffic. Traffic is cars. This month, there isn't any traffic because of the coronavirus. Normally, there is lots of traffic, or there is some traffic. So if you look at your book, they give you some words. They say there is some rubbish, there is some pollution, there is some traffic. Or there isn't any rubbish, there isn't any pollution, there isn't any traffic. All of those are good sentences. Now we use is because these are words that we don't count. We can't count rubbish. We can't count pollution. We can't count traffic. But we use are or aren't with things that we can count and that are more than one. We can say there are some cars, there are some people, there are some shops, or there aren't any cars, there aren't any people, there aren't any shops. Here are the examples again. There are cars. We can say there are cars, there are some cars, there are 4 cars. If there are none, we would say there aren't any cars. There aren't any cars. Or there aren't any shops. There aren't any shops. Okay, so let's quick review this. We could say there is pollution, or there isn't any pollution. Pollution, we cannot count, so we use is. It's like one item we cannot count. Just like we say, there is rice, or there isn't rice. Isn't any rice. Now, when do we use there are? For more than one item. For example, there are 4 cars. There aren't any cars. There are some apples. There aren't any apples. So the difference is we use is for one item or an item we can't count, like traffic, pollution, rubbish. We can't count it. We use are for items that we can count and that are more than one, like cars, apples. If this was one apple, then I would use is. There is an apple. Repeat after me. There is pollution. There isn't any pollution. There is rice. There isn't any rice. There are 4 cars. There aren't any cars. There are some apples. There aren't any apples. Now you create 5 sentences. First, in your book, create some sentences here using these words. Then, write 5 sentences on your own. You can talk about what's in your kitchen. For example, there is an orange in my kitchen. There are 2 tortillas in my kitchen. There isn't any rice. There aren't any vegetables. Repeat after me. There is an orange. There are tortillas. There isn't any rice. There aren't any vegetables. Create 5 sentences talking about what's in your kitchen. Find the food names. Use there is for one item, there are for 2, or there isn't if you do not have that item, or there aren't if you do not have that item, those items. For homework, you can do Activity Book, Unit 17, Lesson 2, page 69, parts 1 and 3. Skip part 2. In part 1, create a sentence using this item. And look at the picture. The first one says oil. Is there oil in the picture? Nope. So say there isn't any oil. Second one says bread. Is there bread in the picture? Yes. So say there is some bread. Okay? Do this section and then create 2 sentences here using these words. Send your homework to me on WhatsApp. I will correct it tomorrow. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you study hard and keep learning English. You are all doing so good. Goodbye, everyone.